Angithokozani kuni nonke bantwana bethongo. Nginibingelele nonke bathandekayo. It's me. Gogo Machapelo, otherwise known edlozini as Baba Nyoga. Yes, Ziba. It's good to see you again. And this time I have a short video for abantwana bamakhehla. Ngoba makhehla beloke bengihlela emahlombe. As you know, I'd love to shoot these videos as frequently as possible, but wow, maybe a story for another day. Mntana Khehla ngikhuluma nawe namhlanje. Child of the grandfathers, I speak to you today as a child of the ancestors. When you possess a gift, whether kiasimoya or kiabongaka, whether your gift is angel related, water related, or it's an indigenous gift, you are able to be possessed by either a female spirit or a male spirit. And today I'm on the male spirit because I feel we suffer the most. Probably. Yeah, mntana wekhehla, child of the grandfather. Male spirits are very dominant in the way that they present themselves in you, around you, meaning already you have that aura that is male, that is dominating. And so immediately your challenges will be more exceptional than the rest. And this is because male spirits are very jealous, are very possessive, are very strong-willed, and are very present in their aura. No, okay, Satane. Oh. And so a child that is possessed by a male spirit can come into many challenges. Mntana wekhehla, child of the grandfather. You find with the children that have male spirits, romantic relationships, marriages will be quite difficult to maneuver if achievable at all. First of all, we have the perception that Ndwaso fixes everything in terms of things that are going wrong. Understand that the promises your ancestors made are promises that they will fulfill. But in other ancestors' views, there are things that they decide as a committee you need. And there are things that they feel are wants. Itongo, an ancestor, will always prioritize your needs, meaning to look after you financially, to protect you, to assist you in flourishing, in achieving your goals so that you can survive. And most importantly, when you are a child of the grandfather, umntwana wekhehla, you immediately hold the responsibility of a lineage as if you were born a male child, as if you were born a son. Lokhu kusho ukuthi mawunamakhehla, immediately you are put as a head of spirituality and sometimes financial matters in your family, wherein you find that they choose you to rarabula dinkinga, to solve certain issues that you would find that in most families the head of the house would do that, or a male child would do that. They will also offer you an inheritance of a male child, meaning things like liruo, farming, businesses, also financial blessing, but also that comes with financial responsibility. Now we know that back in the days, the male would have to go out and find a job so that they could provide for the home, because that was the role that a male has been given. So as a female with a male spirit, that is also one of the responsibilities that you can find yourself having to be in charge of. So if they say they bless you financially, that you'll flourish financially, it is because it comes with responsibilities of the head of the house. So you find that, okay, things are going well, but at the same time, you have responsibilities that they will put in order of priority ahead of you that are family related. The male spectrum or the male a male's destiny in African culture, or the original African culture, was to grow the lineage, to make sure the lineage survives in terms of marrying a woman and making children and letting the surname grow. So that is why you find most of the time abantwana baphethwe amakhehla bayonikezwa amathuba wokwenza imali, bana ba tshwereng ke bontatemogolo ba tlo fiwa menyetla ya go etsa tšhelete so that they can ensure that the lineage doesn't die out, it survives. And so this makes sexuality, romance, finance, social life, and even in your spirituality, very responsibility led. Your life becomes a theme of responsibility, and with each and every child, it differs depending on the needs of your lineage, which that grandfather will prioritize and will give you instructions to carry out. It also then depends on that particular ancestor, their character. As we have metrosexuals that are males on this earth, you have metrosexual ancestors, you have very masculine, very alpha male ancestors as well. And that's why I'm saying that it differs from ancestor to ancestor. It differs from male ancestor to male ancestors as well. That's why you find that there are people who have isithunywa somkhulu when they are female, who have idlozi lomkhulu when they are female, and immediately you find those people don't struggle with marriage at all. They marry, they have children, and it's not a problem. And then you find other females being given the gift to bring children on this earth. The children's fathers will leave. That is very intentional on the ancestors' perspective, because they immediately know that if we chase these men away, these children take our surnames, and in turn we are what? We are growing the lineage. Oh. Wow. I feel that the pain is deep out there, and so that is why I'm delivering the message to make it clear that sometimes you can be baffled that you've done what the ancestors have asked of you, and still you find yourself in positions where you are having to be mbogoto. Mbogoto meaning you are having to be alpha female all the time. You find if you do get married, you find that you can earn more than your partner, you can have more responsibility than your partner, and you can find that they sometimes, if they do allow you to get into partnerships, they give you a partner who is more submissive than you, or they can give you a partner that is more lenient to give abomkulu space. Whenever you meet an alpha male and you've got a mkulu, you find that in those relationships there's always conflict, because umkhulu wants his space. Umkhulu, first of all, makes it very difficult for you to attract an alpha male, because his aura is already all over you. And you'll see with children, nomkhulu, you'll see with children that have grandfathers, even the walk sometimes is masculine, even our energy sometimes is masculine, and so we don't attract those kind of males that would want someone physically, or their aura is very feminine, very nurturing. And it's not to say that those females don't have those attributes of mothering and nurturing, but the overwhelming sense of the person immediately intimidates an alpha male. And so wherein you find that they've allowed people to settle, they've allowed them to settle with partners that are very allowing of your male energy, or they are not intimidated by that male energy because they don't fight for the space. And when they don't fight for the space, abomkulu, they feel more comfortable that they can be who they are around your partner. But when you find that you find an alpha male, they immediately becomes a clash, because in Nkunzi it is a bull cow and another bull cow in one crawl. Right. Some of these ancestors, they do not promise marriage because they understand that they've put this burden of growing the lineage on your shoulders, and allowing you to settle means that you go into another family's kraal, your surname changes, your children's surname changes, and you no longer work for the surname of the ancestor that has gifted you the gifts, and immediately that means that they either need to choose someone else in your lineage to carry that burden. And if unfortunately you are the chosen one, then you will find difficulty in those things, guys. Are not to say that they are non-negotiable. Sometimes they can ask that the surname remains the same. These things are very, very spiritual in that once you've done your gifts, you will have to then negotiate and see what terms it is that they agree to allow you to settle, because it is very, very possible for a female physical body who possesses a male spirit to not settle. And you find them working and leading the family their entire lives until someone in the next generation can take that role from them, and you find that time you are in your old age and your heydays are gone. I feel today that being under the same conditions, being possessed by a male spirit and going through the challenges as a female who's possessed by, I hate these nails, by the way. You know, my nail tech was like, let's use black this time, and now she's made them look like, I know she doesn't watch YouTube, I hope so, and now she's made them look like I drink blood on my free time. Like, look at this. It's like, do you understand? My gosh. Anyways, I feel to give an encouraging word to say that your ancestors don't hate you, and don't ever see your gift as a burden. Um, the first thing is to accept who you are, to accept the spirits who are in you, because they are extremely powerful, and they don't take rubbish. And whatever has not stayed or remained in your life was not meant to be there. If you feel like they are prolonging your personal happiness, it is always advisable to prioritize their work first, so that they have good reason to listen to your queries and to listen to your complaints, so that they can grant what it is that you seek, but understand that they might grant it under different conditions. You get people with a male spirit that are being asked to extend the lineage by marrying a woman, meaning a woman possessed by a male spirit is being asked to marry another woman and to pass that surname on to the woman. I feel that things that make spirituality so challenging is because it is hard to understand. I can understand the difficulty my family would go through if I were to tell them that, guys, give up. I've been asked to take 2 wives, or whatever the case may be. If you've heard of the Rain Queen, I think her name is Mojaji, or they all become Mojaji. I don't know. I hope it's Mojaji, so I don't have to edit the video. The concept of the Betty Rain Queen is that she's not allowed ever to marry. The kingdom of that Betty clan has always kept the legacy of having a queen, because that is what their ancestors had requested to keep the lands alive. And the people came to understand that if ever we were to replace this concept with the concept of a king instead of a queen ruling the kingdom, the lands would die and the people would die out. And the same concept can be applied to a female body that is possessed by a male spirit, in that they can, okay, let me finish the thing, I'm not judging. So the Rain Queen is arranged for to marry multiple wives that take care of her and run the kingdom, but most importantly, they birth for her. Meaning they are men that are not identified. These men come in secret in night, they are not seen. They then impregnate the women, and the women give birth to the children, and the children are the queen's children. The fathers are never identified, because the idea is to grow the lineage. So the same can happen to a female body that is possessed by a male spirit. They can come through to a very heterosexual female and request that the female marry a woman to carry on the legacy. Whoever impregnates that person's wife, those children belong to that ancestry. And so it is for us to understand the complexities of African culture, that the root of African culture was always to keep the blood alive. Sorry, Majul, kusali busy kyat. It was to keep the lineage alive, and wherein they found or wherein your ancestors find that within your lineage there is no male strong enough to carry the blood forward. I remember that with every family, every household, every homestead, a blessing will be given to a child or certain children. Before those blessings are given to those certain children, they look at a lot of things. Ancestors are more interested in blessing for future purposes, to ensure that the generations survive, they thrive, and that they expand. And whatever legacies did not come to pass with your grandmothers, your grandfathers, and people in the past, if you are the chosen one, are put on your shoulders to fulfill. And that's why the financial blessing as well is a tricky one for umntwana kamkhulu, the child of a grandfather, because it comes with that responsibility. And that's why most of the time you find that they will request things like land. They will request that you buy animals in the land. They will request that you do things that will expand the legacy and grow it forward. Obviously, that financial responsibility is not taken alike by many people. You can give a person a 50,000 and you can give another person 50,000. We are not going to spend it the same because of the way that we are built. And that is why they are very careful in choosing the keys of the lineage. And as umntwana kamkhulu, you are usually the key to your lineage. And that's why you find that your challenges might be more, but once you get through your processes, wathabisa badimo, wathokozisa idlozi thongo lakho likupete ngokuthi ufeze ifiso zabo ka gore o etse dilo tsa badimo tse ba di kgopelang ho wena. Ha ile sethonya ebe sethonya, ha ile bongoma ebe bongoma, ha ile double exozo wetse di le pedi. And then you start to see their plans come in fruition. You can see it through visions, you can see it through dreams, you can see it when you are communicating to them. This is our plan for you. It can even come from outside, where you get people prophesy you all the time to say you are supposed to do this and this and this and that, and those things seem great and they always seem quite extended and quite hopeful. And that is because you always need to realize that you are working towards a lineage. Imbewu yomuntu onsuntu, the seed of an African person, was always to grow. So the village invests in a child so that the child can grow more children, and it goes on and on and on, so that that bloodline can survive. The death of a bloodline is the most detrimental thing to an ancestor, because there is no longer anyone on the earth that they can use who is surviving to assist them. Because you have to understand that our ancestors have challenges as well. There can be cries ukuthi yey bakhona baganga yethu neni. Who's going to go and fix that? Because the lineage has died out. You can find that umsamo wangcoliswa usibanibani washona usibanibani kwashona wonke omunye umuntu. Who is going to fix those things for them? And so it is so important that they always have a link on the earth, and links that are growing to ensure that that lineage is surviving generations forward. So whatever plan whatever plan the creator had for Batlokwa, for whatever clan that you are, can be fulfilled, because they understand that it might not be fulfilled by me, who is beginning to take the right road, but it can be fulfilled by children that are coming from my children's children. And so if that lineage doesn't grow, that cuts the possibility of those heritages, of those plans, of those lineages and legacies that were supposed to be fulfilled, and because of things that happened in the past they were not fulfilled. Those children that I don't even know are coming can be the keys to do that for our kingdoms. And so your life might be a life of sacrifice, and your life might be a life of challenges and very little personal benefit. But Mdane Tongo, you are who you are. And I feel Itongo has no reason to refuse you joy when they are joyful. And so let your life be one of prioritizing what they need from you. And then they can in turn prioritize what you need from them. And having said that, it might not come in the way that you thought it would come. For some of you, what you want is career success. But for Itongo Lako, for your ancestor, they want a legacy of which they understand you cannot achieve that working for somebody else. They might take you out and give you their own plans. They might want to grow a legacy through a husband. They can want to grow it through a wife. They can build you to stay alone for your entire life and bring children that will take that surname, as painful as it sounds, that would take your home surname, and they will then go on to grow the legacy further once your life has ended. I realized that I came here to make a hopeful video, but I feel that the video's purpose was not to give hope, but rather to open your mind about the things that go on at Lozini, so that you can better understand why some of your challenges are the way that they are, and why, especially for some of you that have fulfilled what you've needed to do at Lozini, personally it seems that they do not want to settle you. It is because of all those things are coming into play. And sometimes patience is a virtue. Number 2, communication is key. Do not always assume that your ancestors know what you need. If you feel that they have chosen you for impilo yembogoto, and that is not what you can survive, and that is not what brings you joy, then there is always negotiating. But understand that, for instance, if your grief with them is that you want to get married, they can give you somebody that you didn't initially see yourself with. If, for instance, you're an alpha female and you always said, I want an alpha male, I want somebody always to contend with me, they might not agree with that choice. And then sometimes they can bring you somebody that seems submissive, although that's not what you thought you wanted or you thought that you needed. And that somebody sometimes they can bring you somebody that will not always be on the same financial level as you, and that is very, very, very intentional, Elozini, because they understand that power relations is that once money is exchanged, power is given to the other party. And so when you're in a situation where your partner earns more than you, let's say they pay the mortgage, they pay the cars, etc., etc., there is a power relation shift that happens between the two of you that does not give them a place to sit, because they are owned by somebody else, which they try and desperately avoid. So do not always force your way because you have personal preferences and perspectives. They have a way of working through you, and they need people around you that will allow that energy and that will allow those works and those instructions they are giving to you to be done. If you are in a relationship where you are controlled by somebody who has more money than you, should amathongo bathi phume ebusuku uyothandaza entabeni uyothandazela umuntu noma uyosiza umuntu ebusuku, should your ancestors give you an instruction that you need to take a certain client to the mountain at night, or you yourself need to go to the mountain at night, because this person pays for everything, you find yourself in a position where you are unable to negotiate any terms that say, but amadlozi ati, but my ancestors are asking this and that. So that's why sometimes you want to slay. You want to slay on somebody's paycheck and they will not allow, not because it's wrong for all children, but it's wrong for you because umntwana wekhehla, and they do not like to be controlled in a way that will stop their work from being done. I think it's time for me to say Thokozan. I've said all I need to say. It was good seeing you again. Nisale kahle. I'll see you again soon. Thokozan.